Good evening. Welcome to Around the World with Dee and Friends. Tonight, Hashmed will be joining me, and we will be discussing how Rahm Emanuel wants to save Israel. But are Israelis listening? And this was an article from Haaretz that we will be discussing. And I'd appreciate it if you could hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on X, and follow me on Upscrolled. Right now, I'm going to be sharing the show to let everybody know that we are live, and that's going to take a little time. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. Yes, it always takes time to share the show out. Evelina, are you live? Yes, Evelina, I am live. I just went live, and yes, Harsh is going to be here, and we're going to be talking about the Haaretz article. There's a lot of controversial feelings about it. People aren't. People are being skeptical. It's always good to have some skepticism. So, I'm going to quickly as possible share this out. Let everybody know we're live. Share it to some groups. And, Harsh said he will be here. I know he's charging his phone up right now. Yeah, it's so important if everybody could just share the show to your social medias. I'd really appreciate that. And there's so much skepticism around this article, but it was interesting. I liked his tone when he was speaking to a journalist in Israel. And as we all know, Israel pretty much has put itself in a bad position. They don't need, warm and fuzzy hugs. The world is ready to isolate Israel. They've had enough. So he gives them a firm talking to, and we're going to be going over that soon. Like I said, I'm just sharing around on Facebook right now. Then I'll go over to X and share on X. Yeah, it's already up on X, but I'm just going to do some hashtags and share it around. Okay. Let's see here. Mm. Yeah, I'm just sharing around. I should be getting this show going soon. But I just gotta try to share to more places. I just got to go over to X and share some more over on X. Okay, pin this. Okay, hold. Let me see. Do some hashtagging. Getting the word out. Okay. And Hall should be joining me soon. And then start reading and going over the article. But I really want to go over it with Harsh. But and he is going to be here, he said, so. Okay, this and this. Okay. Okay, let me get over there to the article. Yes. Okay, Evelina, I'm gonna get started. Okay, here he is. And this is an analysis from Haaretz. Rahm Emanuel wants to save Israel, but are they listening? Is Israel listening? It says here Rahm Emanuel, a potential Democratic presidential candidate and longtime defender of Israel, speaks in Tel Aviv University on Wednesday. Rahm Emanuel, making a strong play for being the Kishki's U.S. presidential Democratic candidate, came to Israel with some home truths about the disaster that Netanyahu has led the country into. But his mission is for America's sake as much as Israel's, and it's written by Esther Solomon, July 9th, 2026. It was often said that Joe Biden would be the last president who felt connected to Israel in his kishkis. That is his concern for Israel's well-being, expressed in a familial, folksy manner, was a gut feeling born of his biography and political era that was passing. Rahm Emanuel, who said he is still evaluating a run for the presidency as he wrapped up his visit to Israel with a briefing to journalists on Thursday, is making a strong play for being a Kishkis candidate for president. His biography is unassailable in that way. His father was born in Jerusalem, a member of the pre-state militia Irgun, while Emanuel himself spent his teenage summers in Israel and was even temporarily a civilian IDF volunteer during the 1991 Gulf War. His middle name is even Israel. But what was evident in his scorching address Wednesday at Tel Aviv University, in his television interviews with Israeli TV channels, and in the journalist briefing was the passion, but also the political engagement. He cares about what Israel is becoming for its sake and also for America's. But a generation younger than Biden, pre-campaigning after the Gaza war, and was a very different political environment to contend with, not least in the Democratic Party. Emanuel is grabbing Israel by the shoulders and giving it a shake instead of Biden's unconditional hug. During his visit, Emanuel said that Israel under Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has become a global pariah, that a strategic and diplomatic situation is at a dead end, that its only tool is military might, and that its relationship with the United States is at a tipping point. Amid a precipitous fall in public support for Israel, America cannot continue to finance and support a country whose government is complicit in self-destructive and fanatical policies against Palestinians in the West Bank, and who appears completely indifferent to the death, destruction, and suffering of Palestinians in Gaza. Vice President J.D. Vance also recently warned Israel about its precarious international position, slamming the Netanyahu government for attacking the only powerful ally left in the entire world, and adding, "You, Israel, can't just kill your way out of every national security problem." But it is the Kishka's motivation that distinguishes Emmanuel's critique from the cold skepticism, if not hostility, of the rising tide in the Republican Party that Vance embodies, or the open confrontation of what was once a hard left, but now mainstream position in the Democratic Party. Perhaps made clear from the questions posed to him by Israeli journalists, some of which verged on the parochial, if not patronizing and unserious, as if Israel's biggest problem right now is campus chants of free Palestine. The issue is that Israelis don't sufficiently understand how far Emmanuel is sticking his neck out to talk to them in Israel at this moment. There is an enormous gap between Emmanuel, a lone old-style Democrat on Israel who, unlike progressives in his camp, don't accuse Israelis of genocide or endorse the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, and even centrist Israelis. Emanuel stresses equally his opposition to the one-statism of from the river to the sea from the left and the greater Israel from the right. But it's the former slogan, rather than the later policy in progress, that riles many Israelis. Perhaps Emanuel has come to point out to Israelis that what has become normalized and routine is nothing of the sort. And not only about West Bank annexation, but most broadly, that even Israelis with no sympathy for Netanyahu have passively absorbed his dystopian vision of permanently living by the sword. The primacy of military might has led, in Emmanuel's eyes, to the atrophying of other essential elements of Israel's national security. Where does Israel go now? If Emmanuel came with a rebuke born out of genuine concern, he also offered a way out. But whereas his diagnosis was both precise and intense, his solution suffered from the shortage of details. His vision for an end to the Israeli Palestinian conflict is the J Street adjacent plan for a 23 state solution, in which the 21 strong Arab League would set up and assume its rightful place as the adult in the room, with the Palestinian leadership steering it towards self determination, while all the Arab states recognize Israel. Whether or not this Palestinian leadership is a replacement for what Emmanuel calls the corrupt Palestinian Authority, which is, in his words, has failed the Palestinian people, is not clear. Although Emmanuel said that the end game is Palestinian sovereignty for Israel's security, he doesn't explain how to ensure normalization does not become a bypass around Palestinian statehood. Okay, we say he doesn't explain how to ensure normalization does not become a bypass around Palestinian statehood like the Abraham Accords have been. His plan also depends on Israel not scoopering the viability of a Palestinian state, leaving aside the debate about if that horse has already bolted. Emmanuel calls for a sanctions regime against both violent settlers and illegal settlements, including construction companies, banks, and funders. When I asked for his definition of an illegal settlement, he said that it covered any settlement that could undermine a future agreement. That's an intangible, if not arbitrary and potential fluid, definition not recognized by international law. But Emmanuel's core contribution is not in providing a 1,000-page plan with footnotes. It is asking Israelis, where does Israel go now? Do you think you can really survive without the United States? Netanyahu has led Israel to this nadir. But do the opposition leaders competing to replace him have the balls to change direction? Do they, deep down, not only understand the current crisis, but also what needs to be done? Or are they betting an international, not Netanyahu wave of enthusiasm will cover up their lack of commitment to real change? And in this picture here, it's a National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, then a right-wing activist, was detained by police after shouting slogans at Rahm Emanuel, then the White House Chief of Staff, during his visit to Jerusalem, Jerusalem's old city, in 2010. The Netanyahu camp will brand Emmanuel as an enemy, if not a traitor, because Rahm is bursting the delusion that a no daylight relationship has benefited the US and Israel, and that there can be peace without the Palestinians. But that is hardly news for Emanuel. In 2010, Itamar Ben-Gvir, then as now a far-right provocateur, had to be physically restrained by Israeli police from harassing Emanuel's family as they celebrated his son's bar mitzvah at the Western Wall. 9 years later, Netanyahu called him a self-loathing Jew. These days, the go-to insult from the Prime Minister's camp towards U.S. Jewish officials is Jew boy. Emanuel came to Israel with an emergency shoot for Israelis, preferring to look them in the eye rather than throwing spitballs across the Atlantic, as he put it. Maybe he wanted to take a leaf out of the United Arab Emirates book with its public intervention in the Israeli media in 2020, warning that annexation would scupper normalization. A lot has changed since then, but Emmanuel's mission, infused with urgency ahead of Israel's elections, is to say clearly that the situation is close to, but not yet, irretrievable. It's not clear if Israelis will listen even to a friendly voice with Kishka's credentials, and what the backlash from within its own party will be. But Emmanuel should be braced to find heartbreak, if not heartburn, on his path. Yes. And there's many people on social media that have been saying Israel's hanging on the last days. I mean, Netanyahu, this is all has to do with Netanyahu. Netanyahu, I remember years ago, we talked about that, the eighth decade curse. The eighth decade curse and how he feared the eighth decade curse. His actions over the last years, I've thought of that a lot of what he said because he himself embodies the curse. I mean, his actions, it's maddening. It really is. And the destruction, the evil, the people are so brainwashed, and the slaughtering of the people in Gaza. No one stops them. No one does anything. And they're fine with it. And what they're doing in the West Bank, these having him bringing the right wing people into the coalition so that he could be in power. He's destroying Israel. That's Netanyahu. And then anybody that comes in after him, so far doesn't look like there's anybody that would do different, much different. Evelina says he should also mention the harm Israel is causing the U.S. Exactly. Not just itself. Yes. And Evelina says, goes without saying how it's harming Palestinians. Yes. Okay, Harsh is supposed to be joining me, but until he gets here, I think we'll go over to X. Because I really wanted to discuss this with Harsh. There needs to be strong voices. And I know there's a lot of people that have criticized Rahm Emanuel. He's in Chicago, when he was in Chicago, and also in the Biden administration. You know, saying he had a potty mouth, and also his neoliberalism. But this was something I felt a strong voice. Somebody's got to say something to Israel. As it's been said over and over again, people are saying it stays numbered with the actions, just the way they are. You know, and like most countries, you live within your own group. The media and all. You think it's normal, but what they're doing over there is not normal. Okay, here we go. Trying to get over to X and see what's being said over there. They got the elections going on, and is there gonna is there gonna be much difference? So far, we don't see where there will be. You'll have a different face, and hopefully a different coalition that's not as extreme, but that same greater Israel, and that's the big problem, as he said. That's the big problem. It's not people with free Palestine signs. The problem is Israel itself and the greater Israel. And their agenda of expansion. That's the problem. Hmm. Okay. This says from the Times of Israel. After decades of reliable American bipartisan backing for Israel, a new poll reveals a dramatic erosion of support for the longtime U.S. ally, with rising opposition from Democrats and signs of division among Republicans. About 2 in 10 Americans say Israel has not committed genocide, and the rest, about half, don't even know enough to say. Okay, I think I hear Harsh is in the room.
Good there. So, what were you saying about half is there and half aren't even in the room?
What's that?
You said something like half don't know and half do, or something like
Okay,
that.
okay, let me go back.
Are we talking about Rahm Emanuel, Illinois' favorite mayor, Chicago's
We
favorite mayor?
were we were talking about him, and in the meanwhile,
Oy vey.
okay,
Can I just say something? This whole performance act of Rahm Emanuel is just nonsense. It's like, ever since he's trying to do all this bullshit is revisionist history. Whether he criticizes what Chicago, Brandon Johnson or Lori Lightfoot are doing in Chicago, or whether he criticizes what some of these other people are doing. It's so stupid.
did you hear the article at all when I was reading it?
Which article?
I read the Haaretz article.
I didn't get to.
Okay, I can go over it again. Let me just take some time.
Oh, 1 second. I'm having my Bluetooth. Oh, well.
No, because there were some points here. Because like even Evelina, this is what Evelina was saying about Rahm Emanuel that he should also mention the harm Israelis is causing to
Jeez.
the U.S. and
Oh, 1 second.
it goes without say that Israelis are harming the Palestinians. That goes without say. But let me see something. Share screen.
Oh, once. Yeah.
Okay, well, this is Rahm Emanuel wants to save Israel, but are Israelis listening? Okay, let me see. Okay, it starts off with Rahm Emanuel making a strong play for being the Kishka's U.S. presidential Democratic candidate, came to Israel with some home truths about the disaster that Netanyahu has led the country into. But his mission is for America's sake as much as Israel's. Everybody's seeing that Israel is pretty much on its last days. It was often said that Joe Biden would be the last U.S. president who felt connected to Israel in his kishkas. That his concern for Israel's well being, expressed in a familial, folksy manner, was a gut feeling born of his biography and political error that was passing. Rahm Emanuel, who said he is still evaluating a run for the presidency, as he wrapped up his visit to Israel with a briefing to journalists on Thursday, making strong play for being a Kishkish candidate for president. Okay, let me see what some of the stuff he says here. Yeah, this was interesting about his background. And his biography is unassailable in that way. His father was born in Jerusalem, a member of the pre-state militia, the Irgun, while Emanuel himself spent his teenage summers in Israel and was even temporarily a civilian IDF volunteer during the 1990 Gulf War. His middle name is even Israel. But what was evident in his scorching address Wednesday at Tel Aviv University and his television interviews with Israeli TV channels and in the journalist briefing was the passion, but also the political engagement. He cares about what Israel is becoming for its sake and also for America's. But a generation younger than Biden, pre campaigning after the Gaza war, and with a different political environment to contend with, not least in the Democratic Party, Emmanuel is grabbing Israel by its shoulders and giving it a shake. He is shaking them instead of Biden's unconditional hug. Okay, we're going to get into the meat of this. Okay, during his visit, Emmanuel said that Israel, under Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, has become a global pariah, that a strategic and diplomatic situation is at a dead end, that its only tool is military might, and that its relationship with the United States is at a tipping point amid a precipitous fall in public support for Israel. America cannot continue to finance and support a country whose government is complicit in self destructive and fanatical policies against Palestinians in the West Bank and who appears completely indifferent to the death, destruction, and suffering of the Palestinians in Gaza. So we actually use the word Palestinians and the suffering of the Palestinians. Vice President J.D. Vance also recently warned Israel about its precarious international position, slamming the Netanyahu government for attacking the only powerful ally left in the entire world, and adding, "You, Israel, can't just kill your way out of every national security problem." But it's the Kishka's motivation that distinguishes Emmanuel's critique from the old cold skepticism, if not hostility, of the rising tide in the Republican Party that Vance embodies, or the open confrontation of what was once a hard left but now mainstream position in the Democratic Party. perhaps made clear from the questions posed to him by Israeli journalists, some of which verged on the parochial, if not patronizing and unserious, as if Israel's biggest problem right now is campus chants of free Palestine. The issue is that Israelis don't sufficiently understand how far Emmanuel is sticking his neck out to talk to them in Israel at this moment. There is an enormous gap between Emmanuel, a lone old style Democrat on Israel who, unlike progressives in his camp, doesn't accuse Israelis of genocide or endorse the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, and even centrist Israelis. It says here Emmanuel stresses equally his opposition to the one statism of from the river to the sea from the left and the greater Israel from the right. But it's the former slogan, rather than the later policy in progress that rives many Israelis. Perhaps Emmanuel has come to point out to Israelis that what has become normalized and routine is nothing of the sort. And not only about West Bank annexation, but more broadly, that even Israelis with no sympathy for Netanyahu have passively absorbed his dystopian vision of permanently living by the sword. The primacy of military might has led, in Emmanuel's eyes, to the atrophying of other essential elements of Israel's national security. Where does Israel go now? If Emmanuel came with a rebuke born out of genuine concern, he also offered a way out. But whereas his diagnosis was both precise and intense, his solution suffered from a shortage of details. His vision for an end to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is the J Street Adjustment Plan for a 23-state solution, in which a 21-strong Arab League would step up and assume its rightful place as the adult in the room, with the Palestinian leadership steering it toward self-determination while, see, this is the issue too, while all the Arab states recognize Israel. Whether or not this Palestinian leadership is a replacement for what Emmanuel calls the corrupt Palestinian Authority, which in his words has failed the Palestinian people, is not clear. Although Emmanuel said that the end game is Palestinian sovereignty for Israel's security, he does not explain how to ensure normalization does not become a bypass around Palestinian statehood like the Abraham Accords have been. Then he continues on. It says his plan also depends on Israel not scoopering the viability of a Palestinian state. Leaving aside the debate about if that horse has already bolted. Emmanuel calls for sanctions, regime against both violent settlers and his illegal settlements, including construction companies, banks, and funders. When asked for his definition of an illegal settlement, he said that it covered any settlement that could undermine a future agreement. That's an intangible, if not arbitrary, or potential fluid definition not recognized by international law. But international law does have the boundaries of where Israel is and where a Palestinian state is. But Emmanuel's core contribution is not in providing a 1,000-page plan with footnotes. It is exactly Israeli.
Wait a second. Hold on. So this guy, like we mentioned earlier, is trying to talk about something that was decided in 1967 but was never fucking enforced. That's great.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. Dude, this guy is such a revisionist piece of shit. If he actually wanted to do, this man was in Barack Obama's cabinet, Bill Clinton's cabinet, and you never heard of him saying any of this crap once.
No.
Never. But now that he wants to run for president, that's what he didn't even say he was running for mayor of Chicago. And now he wants to spew this bullshit.
Well, I was going to say, normally the Democratic Party itself, even though during Biden's presidency, and wasn't doing it. Remember, they always said the two-state solution. It was always said a two-state solution, but what was going on?
They never did anything to enforce it.
Exactly. No one's ever done
This is
anything to
so
enforce it.
dumb. And it's no different than the shit that fucking Rahm Emanuel says about what our mayors need to do, what our politicians need to do, how the far left can't be like this or that. It's like, wait a second, you were mayor for 8 years of one of the biggest cities in the entire world, and you did absolutely nothing with it. Nothing. The only thing you did was give sound bites to the leader of the fucking teachers union.
Yes,
Yay. Well, what the hell did he do? What did he do?
I know.
I mean, what did he actually do? What, the Cubs won the World Series when he was mayor, so therefore he's awesome? I mean, serious. What the hell did he actually do?
Right.
Now, not that he should even use sports as a reference, because this is far more serious than that crap. But I mean, if you do want to use it, well, let's see. The Blackhawks dynasty ended under him, and the double doink happened. So and the Bears are just trash. So really, he gets no credit.
Right.
No credit at all. And Derrick Rose's career was ended prematurely because of his dumb.
The only thing I could say was when in the Obama administration with the Iran deal, but what can you really say?
Evelina says he talks about how Israel's behavior is affecting the U.S., but only so far in the publicist perception of it. Does not mention specific harm to U.S. No, duh. Like, this is what he does. This is what he does. This is Rahm Emanuel and his bullshit, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you expect him to do anything, to say anything, or do anything of substance? I didn't. Mm-hmm. I remember his career. Evelina says, are you live? Yes. She says he should also mention the harm Israel's causing the U.S., not just itself. Goes without saying how it's harming its Palestinians. It was 3 different comments that were bunched up into one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but yeah, why would he mention that? He's an opportunistic piece of shit. All he wants to do is be an opportunist and try to, like, recreate the narrative. This is just revisionist history.
Here's Ben Gavir. In this picture.
I mean, what is it? I mean, what we should do is just call this Ben Gavir versus Emanuel, like, little argument and Epstein fight. That's what this is. It's an Epstein fight.
Mm-hmm. It's back in 2020.
I mean, this is so stupid. This is so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And can we just say for the record, Jeffrey Epstein represents the mentality of the average. Jeffrey Epstein represents the mentality of the average Jewish person. He does. I hate saying that. I'm not saying he represents every Jewish person, but he represents the average mentality, the mentality of the average Jewish person. He's just wealthier and, far more sinister. And Benjamin Netanyahu represents the mentality of the average Israeli. So
he doesn't. Has here the Netanyahu camp will brand Emanuel as an enemy, if not a traitor, because Rahm is bursting the delusion that a no daylight relationship has benefited the U.S. and Israel.
I mean, we all know. I mean, we discussed this on the phone. Mm-hmm. We all know why he's doing this.
Right.
He wants to run for president. What makes him presidential?
Right.
In the Democratic Party. Talking about criticizing Ben Gavir and Netanyahu. This is all this is. This is Barack Obama all over again.
But this was in 2010. It was in 2010 Itamar Ben Gavir, then as now a far-right provocateur, had to be physically restrained by Israeli police from harassing Emanuel's family as they celebrated his son's bar mitzvah at the Western Wall. 9 years later, Netanyahu called him a self-loathing Jew. These days, the go-to insult for Prime Minister's camp towards U.S. Jewish officials is Jew boy. Well, because Netanyahu is the far right. They're all with him, and the Christian Zionists. They all love
I'm
Netanyahu.
just not falling for this. I'm just not falling for this Epstein, you know,
Right,
Epstein art. I mean, it's like if Rahm Emanuel really wanted a two-state solution, if he really wanted, the Israelis to like stop hurting Palestinians, even for the sake of Israel's image or whatever the fuck that means, he had decades to do this. This
right,
is no different than Obama running for office as a far leftist and then giving everybody Mitt Romney's health care plan.
right.
That's all this is. This is
Well,
same garbage.
Rahm Emanuel is a centrist. We know that. He is a neoliberal.
Oh, okay, but again, we all know that this is all just him trying to save his fucking reputation. He doesn't.
Right, and he doesn't. He wouldn't call it a genocide.
He can call whatever it wants. At the end of the day, he could say this is to save Israel, but at the end of the day, this is all just freaking, LARPing.
Right, he's putting his name out there.
Yeah, because he's hoping that the pro-Palestinians the pro-Palestine people are gonna ride with him in the Democratic primary, and he's hoping that like and then the progressive Israelis will see, and the moderates will see his point too.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough to win the White House in 28.
Yeah, he's trying to balance it out.
This is all just political garbage. That's why I'm not even reacting to any of this.
Well, that's the big issue the DNC has, is the fact that the people are, most of the Democrats support Palestine. They're fed up with Israel. They're disgusted by what Israel is doing. People are fed up. And more people are educated. Younger people are educated. The Democratic Party has a problem. They've had a problem for years. The centrism, neoliberalism, when the people want a healthcare for all system, and they're always kicking the can down the road, saying there's a reason why we can't have it. And this with Israel, I mean, this could have been resolved years ago, but they didn't want to.
Yeah, this could have been resolved in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s. But they don't really care about the plight of the Palestinian people or themselves, or the U.S. government or the American people. So this is all just nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole situation is so dumb. It's just really dumb.
They want more land. You have it in the Likud Party platform. The Greater Israel. The Greater Israel is part of their platform. So whoever's, any Israeli party, speaking of Zionism, they want the Greater Israel. That's Zionism right now.
It's just, the whole thing is just nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care. It's not so much I don't care about this, but let's be honest. Rahm Emanuel is an opportunistic piece of shit.
Yeah.
He really is. This is the same shit. Like, this whole revisionist history thing is fucking obnoxious.
Yeah, because we know how he was running, the Obama. Rahm Emanuel was behind Obama running for office. And, the health care for all and everything, it was just. And then, yeah, like you said, we got the Romney plan. It was sick. And they had the opportunity where they could have had a Medicare. They could have put forth a Medicare for all plan. That could have easily been done, but neoliberalism came in. The corporations came in. It says here a poll that a third of U.S. Jews say Israel committed genocide in Gaza as broader support dies. Jews say ceasefire now. What's this? They're at the Times of Israel here. What's this? Barry Firestone. The past few years have increased the disconnect between diaspora Jews and Israelis in profound ways. Here are 4 ways to come together. Well, if they would stop their behavior, and it has here Barry Firestone is president and CEO of Jim Joseph Foundation. The posts on the blogs are contributed by third parties. Okay. But when you think about it, when they talk about coming together, I mean, Israelis have to see what they're doing. I mean, how do you repair a relationship, especially with those that are committing genocide and they don't value the lives of the people in Gaza or the West Bank? I don't know. Okay, a Maine rabbi says, we're relieved Platna dropped out, but damage has been done. That's the Platner in Maine. Oh. Israeli veterinary experts say antimicrobial resistance is making certain eye infections increasingly difficult to treat, posing a growing threat to worldwide to vision in both animals and humans. Huh. A lot of stuff that's going on in Israel is just the evil that they've done where the Palestinians are concerned. And you look at all the bombs that have gone off, the poisoning that they're poisoning the water, they're doing so much evil that it's got to seep back into Israel. I mean, look what they did with the rats, with you know letting go a lot of rats to go into Gaza. Well, then they were talking about the rats going into Israel. Yeah, well, it's like you're reaping what you're sowing. Oh, what happened to Harsh? Yeah, he talks about how Israel's behavior is affecting the U.S., but only insofar as the publicist's perception of Israel does not mention specific harm to us. Yeah. Oh, I wonder what happened to Harsh. Okay, let me see. Harsh. Let me contact Harsh. Ah, yes, he got disconnected. Okay. Okay. Okay.
But no, I mean, if we're live, Rahm Emanuel, I don't know why the hell we're even. I mean, they his rants and rave about him being a microcosm of Democrats.
Hmm.
I guess, are we live right now?
No, I have to get back in. I can put you on the speaker.
No, you'll enjoy it too, that, because I got some rants.
Okay, I need your rants.
The rants, yeah.
Okay.
Not ants. I mean, it's
Rants.
dumb to it.
Yeah.
Ants. But anyway, alright, let's see.
Okay. Yeah, Harsh is coming back. Okay. Um, let's see. Let me get back here. Till he comes back in. And it says here, Bucky Absdorf. The Democratic Socialists aren't winning by spending more. They built a movement that speaks the language of generation, and Jews need to pay attention. Baruch Bucky Absendorf is the CEO and co-founder of Let's Do Something, one of the fastest growing Jewish nonprofits in the world, funded by a group of friends in their 20s in the aftermath, okay, of October 7th. Okay, here's Harsh.
Right. I mean, if we're still talking about that freaking fake activist Rahm Emanuel, I just, this is so stupid. We all know why he's trying to do this. He's trying to run for office. And the Democrats are so retarded. They think they can milk one more, they can pluck one more shitty politician from the Obama tree. So, I mean, this
Right,
is
because
all this crap is.
right, and he's got the credentials. They'll say he's Jewish, and he could scream out. He's got a personality where,
You know, he's not an. You know, he's. If you don't vote for him and he agrees with you, then you are an anti-Semite.
and he's not kissing all over
Anti-Semitism.
Israel. See, the others are all still tiptoeing, tiptoeing through the tulips around Israel. Oh my
Right.
goodness, we don't want to offend you. We don't want to offend you. And he's just laying it out, whether you believe him or not, but at least he's saying he's not tiptoeing around them.
I mean, that's
But
great. He says it in theory, but that doesn't mean I have to believe him. So,
right, you don't have to believe him, but it is good to see somebody in their face. Because even like when, what's his name? When Trump came into office, and there was, his, I can't think of his name. But the real estate guy that goes around with his son-in-law, um, you
Well, on
know,
the Democrat side,
on the Republican side.
oh, that's you mean
Oh,
besides
Witkoff.
Trump?
Yeah, Witkoff. When
Yeah.
there was supposed to be a meeting, and Netanyahu was saying, he couldn't because, Shabbat and whatever. And he just told him in his face to, what he had to do. And, it was in his face about stuff that, somebody else wouldn't do because they'd be afraid of offending. But then Witkoff turned out to be a kiss ass. But, and then that's the
Well,
problem.
they all are. They all turn out to be kiss asses, and they all turn out to be like horrific. So, I mean, the thing is, it doesn't even like this part of this doesn't even bother me because it's like I
Okay.
know this is nonsense, and I'm not gonna vote for the guy just because he's from Illinois, he's from Chicago, and he's an Obama. Like he doesn't have that. Not that Obama himself has any moxie left either. I mean, most black people think he's a sellout,
Yeah.
and everyone else who support him thinks he's a disappointment. Only like fucking dumb blue no matter who Democrats think he's like God.
Right, because
Which
this
is
is the thing people
self-proclaimed.
experienced when Barack Obama. People had a lot of
Right.
hope. We talked about hope and change. People did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if Obama and Emanuel, I guess in a way, Obama and Emanuel are just a lot alike. They wanted to say the right garbage, but when push come to shove, shut the fuck, turn around and do the complete opposite when push comes to shove. So,
Right.
I mean, in that aspect, yeah, he's like an Obama, except Obama was like youthful and a great speaker. Well, the Rahm Emanuel is like,
But I do have to say that when it came to Barack Obama, him and Netanyahu didn't get along. Netanyahu, well, I think because Barack Obama, the color of his skin,
yeah.
Netanyahu had a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we all know Israelis don't like melanated people at all. They don't even like Ethiopian Jews. So I mean,
Oh
why would
no.
they like? So why would they like Obama? But
Yeah.
and those are supposed to be their fellow. Those are supposed to be like their fellow chosen people.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even like their own kind
Right.
if they're not of a certain skin color. I mean, that's how insane these people are.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know. Pot calling the kettle black. Hindu talks about, colorism while he's Hindu, I know.
Well,
Idiots.
that's it. It's just
But I mean, hey, I brought it up too in Hinduism when it comes to the caste system and all that.
right.
If you're a light skinned Indian person, you're treated far differently than if you're a dark skinned Indian person, unless you're like really wealthy. Then it doesn't matter. But all these idiots all aspire to have light skin and jet black hair,
Mhm.
So I mean, in that case, they can't really. So in that case, they differ. But yeah, as for the Israelis, they don't even like their own like Ethiopian Jewish brethren.
The racism.
Yeah,
It's like that Eastern Europe, the European, the European racism.
right. I mean Europeans are so racist. They're racist toward each other.
Mhm.
I mean, which kind of leads me to a point. I mean, a sidebar here. Like, have you noticed that like white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, your WASPs, have never really built anything in America? They've always needed like a slave class of some sort to do the job.
Mhm.
Like, think about it. The South was built by black people who are slaves. The West, built by Asians, who are basically trafficked from China. The North and the Northeast, it was built by Irish, Italians, and like Slavic people and
Right.
Eastern Europeans. People that like the KKK wouldn't even allow.
Right.
So I mean, I will say on a different side note, it's funny when I see like Irish people talking about white pride. It's like, guys, your country's been more divided up and colonized than India. Like, I don't know if you guys really wanted to go on that tangent.
Right.
Like, I'm just saying, you guys and the Polish, you might want to just back out of these like white pride conversations. You are not of them.
Mhm.
And Italians weren't even considered white until 1965. And Irish people are just, they weren't really considered white until
I don't
sometime in the
know.
1900s. So yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, we
So I
talked
mean,
about that earlier with white.
yeah,
And
I mean,
I was gonna say, like, I just look at somebody's skin,
right.
and then for me to look at somebody that's white, their skin is white, and for someone to say they're not white, oh, they're not white. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right. I mean, like I said, white people discriminating against white people all the time too, especially in Europe. I mean, you know what they call like Eastern Europeans?
What's
Slavic people. And you want to know why they call them Slavs or Slavic?
Tell me.
Because in French, Slav means slave.
Hmm.
So that tells you what they really think.
Sure
what
does.
they really think. I mean, they keep saying that they built Western society and all this other stuff. Well, then do it. Then rebuild it. Then do it again without any special help.
Right.
I mean, if they did it, they should. If they did it before, they could do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Because they won't. They always need like an extra slave class. I mean, half the reason why immigration is such a big issue, or at least massive migration or legal immigration, is because when you had the migrants who hopped over the fence and did the dirty work for pennies on the dollar, nobody cared. But now that the migrants are just like, yeah, we're lazy and we're gonna take quote unquote lazy and we're gonna take over everything. Now all of a sudden they don't want them here. Go figure. I mean, I'm just saying, how many of these people would really complain about like the mass migration of Muslims or whatever, mass migration of Muslims or this like latest batch of like, Biden immigrants if they were all in the fields working? How many of them would actually complain about that?
Seriously.
The whole thing is maddening. The whole thing is maddening.
Well, it's maddening because of how hypocritical these idiots are. It's like
Yeah.
these guys didn't do like all these idiots want is a slave class so they can just do like their basic job and that's it. Like how many like Western Europeans do you see in manual labor jobs?
You really don't see many.
You'll see Eastern Europeans. You don't see many Western. And how many of them aren't Irish? Think about it.
Mhm.
I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know about all this.
Right. And that's when you had the building of the unions and everything else for the workers, and that'll
Mm-hmm.
all be chopped down from the neoliberalism. Get rid of all of that, so the monies can go up to the corporate leadership. Not realizing that the workers is why you have a business to begin with.
That's why I can't even like take these people that seriously when they talk about all these things. It's like, well, if you guys are about that life, then why are you worried about having to rebuild America again?
Yeah.
And you know how I know it's all nonsense? You know how I know it's all nonsense that they built Western society and they did this and they did that by themselves?
The evidence is there.
Right, but I could even talk about anecdotal evidence, really. I can talk about actual evidence, which, the Moors had to go to Europe and help them out, basically help them survive after the Black Plague. I mean, they pretty much had to, like, help them with the Renaissance, and they needed slavery to rebuild Europe, too. But, I mean, you have that, but also, how many white nationalists do you see even going down? So you remember in Arkansas when you had that one guy trying to build an all-white, like, neighborhood?
Yes.
All-white community in Arkansas? How many of those white Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, KKK types, white nationalist types do you see helping those guys out?
You don't see anybody.
You don't. You just see them going online bitching about minorities.
That's all they do.
All they do is cry about how, the past was better than the present. Why can't I just sit and watch my game and drink my beer and all this other crap? Meanwhile, other countries, they do that when they have a day off and they're like, whatever, what's wrong with you idiots? Who says you can't do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird tangent.
In some countries, they're talking about a 4-day. 4-day work week, 3 days off.
Evelina says, yeah, that's exactly. The work week should be 3 days off. You don't really need to, like, people shouldn't be working. Like, the fact they have to work 5 days a week to get minimal production, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. What is the point?
A work week should be like 30 hours.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
32 if you want to be autistic, but I'd say 30. Because I mean, and if people have to work from home, then what's the difference?
Right.
I think everybody should go back to, unless you're like at a department store or something. I think if you're like in corporate America, I think everyone should go back to working from home.
Yeah.
Because I mean, why do you need to be in the office
You don't.
to
And it
do
was
the
working
same
out
thing you
fine.
do at home?
Yes, it was working out fine. And then you had, I guess these buildings, they pretty much didn't have many people in them.
All right.
And they're saying, well, we're paying the rent for this building.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, why can't the people work from home? It makes more sense.
All right. I mean, the whole thing is just dumb. Like unless you're like a first responder or something, yeah, I could see that. But otherwise, it's like, or you have to like show up in court or whatever. That's fine. But oh, I just don't get it. But you know what? I don't get the logic of anybody anymore. So, I mean, that's why we're talking about Rahm Emanuel, trying to rehab his image to run for president.
Yes.
I mean, the Obama cow's been milked how long? The Clinton and Obama like farmers cows have been getting milked for how long? It's like how long are they going to keep milking them?
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it. That forever. I mean, you already had Obama, you had Biden, and then if you're having Emmanuel, that means you also have Clinton. Like, what the hell are they gonna do? Have Rahm Emanuel? Huh?
All that shit again.
Yeah. I mean, what else are they gonna do? They're gonna have Rahm Emanuel run for office in 2028 and have George Stephanopoulos run for office in 2032. Is that where we're at?
We just need new blood.
Oh, I mean, once this shit collapses,
We need new blood, and the only positive thing that he did was he, wasn't huggy with Israel. Because I'm just so sick of everybody going like, oh, Israel, 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 and afraid to say anything. Their feelings. And then you have Huckabee there hugging them, and oh, you can have the whole Middle East, and the Democratic side, like some of them that are running are they're so afraid to say anything about Israel.
I mean, best case scenario, Rahm Emanuel is going to pretend to be like the senior citizen version of James Fishback. Self-loathing Jewish guy who hates Israel. But we all know that's going to like flip really quickly.
Right. Yeah. Well, right now, yeah, because the people in Israel that are so with the Israeli government, they don't like anybody that's Jewish that doesn't toe the line of the way they want them to be. And that's what it said, like in the article, it was saying the Jewish boy, the this, the that. You're not Jewish, this and that. It's like,
Not Jewish. You're not a real Jew.
And who the hell are you to say who is and who isn't? Yeah, but you love the Christian Zionists, because they're just kissing your feet. I mean, it's just so disgusting, the whole thing. And
half Jewish, and I did tell her as a joke that if your mom's not Jewish, then you're not Jewish. I did say that. That's like a half joke, half true, because it is the truth, but it is also funny as a joke. Yeah. So I mean, I guess you could say that. But that being said, it's like, yeah, if his mom is Jewish, then he's Jewish. That's it. Yes. So I mean, I don't know what else is there to say. But then again, I mean, then again, even the Jewish religion has been hacked by like the synagogue of Satan. So
Okay, so Evelina was saying here, what happened?
Oh yeah, what happened with the several hundred Indian Jews that are going to settle the West Bank? Israel is going to bring them over. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they went back or if they're still there. All I know is that, like, they were talking about that a few months ago, and then they all shut up after the war. And I also know that for, like, centuries, there's actually been, like, there have been, like, in northern parts of India, there have been, like, certain Jewish communities that have lived there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Although they're less obnoxious in India for some reason than they are elsewhere in the world. I don't know why that is.
Right, and that's the thing. They talked about the place that they have for foreigners, Jews to come, and I guess they want for tourism or vacation or whatever. The Indian Jews say that they're just so loud that they have certain areas where they can, they have their vacation and stuff like that.
Right.
But in the regular neighborhoods, no, they're too noisy, they're too loud. Oh, here comes Wayne. Wayne says Donald Trump is hated. Australia, he and his family are banned. Yep. George Galloway has lambasted, stuck his finger at the orange turd also.
Right. I mean, the whole thing is just dumb. I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of weird how, like, in India, they're less obnoxious than they are
Yeah.
than they are and then they are in the West for some reason. I don't know why that is.
I don't know either.
Because when I lived in India for 8 years, I didn't really hear about Jewish people being crazy or like they, this anti-Semitic. I guess everyone was like, listen, we know how you feel about those bloody terrorists. We feel the same way. We both love cows, so let us leave it at that. There must have been something like that.
Right. They just mind their own business and go
Right.
on with life, and that's about it.
Yeah, because you didn't hear any of their retardation when they were in India for some reason. I don't know why that is, but I guess that's good. I mean, if you had Indian Jews in the West Bank, what would they be like? Look, we love cows too. You have your golden heifer. We have a regular, everyone is a golden heifer to us. That's great, our Indian friends, but can you have any of them that's like a golden calf? We need that for our sacrifice at some point. Can you get some red ones? Can you breed some red ones for us, please? Okay, sure. We'll try to find one, but we don't encourage all that. So.
Okay, and Wayne is saying here Jill Stein or Ocasio-Cortez for 2020.
Oh, no. Are we really doing the Jill Stein nonsense again? Good God.
Yeah, we need to have younger people.
And then AOC, she's also Jewish. God, you're gonna have AOC. If it's gonna be AOC versus Rahm Emanuel, you might as well have Fetterman and all those idiots.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you really might as well have it.
Mm.
I mean, this is so stupid.
Okay, Wayne wants to join us. Let me send him a link.
Wayne says, you have a good attitude, Denard. Denard?
Well, I can get the names. Yeah, it's harsh. But
No, my hair's not as my hair's not as thick as Denard's, and I'm not as skinny as Denard's, so no.
okay, let me send this over. I'll send you a link. Okay, here I go. Let me.
I know the whole thing is so stupid, but whatever. I mean, did I say what I wanted to say? Oh yeah, speaking of Israelis, it's so stupid when these morons want to like threaten to kill people, but then when the shoe's on the other foot, then they turn around and cry and play victim.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's so annoying. It's like, you know what? Why are we protecting people from themselves? I know the legal system has basically been designed to do that in America for the last 70-something years, probably it's like 80-something years. But still, it's retarded. You know what? And another thing, I'm sick of people saying violence is bad, but then staying quiet when people like Bill Gates and the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization crying about the earth being overpopulated. If you think overpopulation's a problem, then congratulations, you're a violent piece of shit.
Mhm.
You really are, because you're calling for people to die.
Right. That's basically what you're doing.
For no reason at all. Now, if you say people are stupid, like, for example, if someone were to think, if you're a Christian Zionist, that means you're suicidal and you want to die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's different. That's called logic. If I'm living a life if I'm living a life of death and destruction every day, wouldn't you be like, hey, you probably deserve to die? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what all these stupid Christian Zionists are doing. They're supporting people who want to kill them. So, who go against everything they want.
And just the word Christian being in front of it. And they don't follow any of the teachings of the person they claim to follow. They claim to follow Jesus, and they are nothing like him.
Well, they don't even get his most basic fucking messages. In Revelations, Jesus Christ literally looks at them and says, "Get away from me, you brood of vipers." I'm paraphrasing, though. "Get away from me, you brood of vipers. You vermin are... You are you Jews are the synagogue of Satan."
Yes.
Get it? So what the hell are they talking about? And if we want to go back there, Israel was also a place in Jacob's mind that he called home. So what the fuck are these people talking about?
Right. He who wrestles with God. And
Right.
like you said, it was in his mind. The name was changed.
Right. Like if you called you, like if Dolores called, like if Wayne, 50
I'm
years
very,
from now.
very good, Janad. Very, very good. We've just had a little protest here
I'm not
in
Denard. I
Yarmouth,
wish I
Melbourne.
was, but I'm not Denard.
Sorry?
I'm not Denard. I wish I was, but I'm not Denard.
Oh, sorry, I get it mixed up.
No, it's okay. I'm glad you think I have a skin in his hair, though. I appreciate that. I'm glad you
Yeah.
think I'm as good looking as him. So I'll take that as a compliment today. Anyway,
I'm a bit of a comedian sometimes, because
clearly,
I completely freaked out this poor cleaner the other day, cleaning up for Hungry Jacks. I said the Islamic Republic of Japan.
oh my God, that was so stupid. Yeah, the Japanese don't really care for Muslims. They just don't care for the chosen hats either.
That's what he said, though.
He's so
He
crazy.
actually made that before.
Well, yeah, I
Before,
mean, he's
what
like,
a
he's more
before is. It means a French word for stuffer.
right.
That's
Well, I
what he
mean, he's
actually
more
said.
senile than the guy replaced, so what do you expect? But yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just retarded.
Yeah.
How do you, one final thing before I let Wayne take over. How do you sit there and talk about Muslims that being pedophiles when you support the same pedophiles from Epstein Island? When you will literally defend pedophilia from Israel and Jewish pedophiles. Like, how are you going to sit there and say Islamic pedophiles, Islam's evil, blah, 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 but then support the same Jewish pedophiles that are causing the mass migration of Muslims into Western society in the first place? I mean, this is how retarded these Christian Zionists are.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, can we just send them to a camp or something? Can we just
Put them
bring
in one
back
of
some
these
of that
detention
German
camps.
engineering? Because these people are just that stupid.
Oh, yeah. What about this Kenneth Copeland? Just give me all your money. It's got to go to Israel. We got to support
just give me all
Israel.
your money. Just give me all your money.
But,
God, what? He's so
yeah.
worthless.
I just wanted to talk about Machaba, Kamani's. Where the hell is he? You know, is he alive? Is he dead? No one
Who?
really well knows.
Who?
Oh, McConnell, Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, Kamani's
Oh,
son.
yeah, he might actually be dead. He probably is dead. Who are we kidding?
I heard this rumor. I heard that they that he is brain dead, and they're waiting until into August, so this way they don't have to appoint somebody for his seat.
But do you think it's possible, Dee, that he did actually go to Russia? I mean, my Persian friend says that that's Western propaganda, but maybe he did actually. Maybe you're right. That
I think he's dead because if he went to Russia, he wouldn't be dead. He'd just be missing. I mean, as sad as this sounds, Russia has a much better healthcare system than America.
Right.
A way better healthcare system. Like,
not as good as us down here, down under.
oh, that might be true. I don't know.
I've actually just been at Sydney Eye Hospital yesterday, and I got tremendous treatment. I had a bit of an eye problem. I got a thing called blessed silas. Yeah. I got a little foreign body go into my eye, and I've just got to put warm compresses on, and I see a specialist in a couple of weeks about a little skin cancer. I've got all these things going wrong. And then now they're saying they want me to go on a medication that is going to increase my chances of getting skin cancer or sunburn, so they can go and take a running jump and,
Right. You know what's sad? You know what's sad? Like, I was thinking about the death of like former fitness instructor Connor Murphy. Like he basically died because he was like going schizo, and he was on the run from law enforcement. So he was in Indonesia. He jumps in a lake, right, where he tries to hide from police, and then by the time they stop searching for him, he goes out of oxygen, right? That's how he passes away. I was just
talking about that UFC guy, the
no,
guy.
That's a different guy.
Oh, a different guy. Okay. Oh, right.
Connor Murphy, but yeah.
I was just going to say, what about the young NFL who got unalived? Young. I forget his name, but it's. I follow a lady called Jenna King, and she puts up all these interesting posts on Instagram. She's American.
Well, anyway, I was just thinking, it'd be nice if some of these Christian Zionists followed suit. Because, I mean, if they want to live a life, if they want to support people that want to kill them, and they want to go on a suicidal path, and they don't want to acknowledge that they're suicidal, then why not just do what Connor Murphy did? I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's not the... Huh?
Anyway, I wanted to come on to give the good news, the good news of the gospel, the ready for the rapture and everything, because according to Donald Trump, if some 300 Shahed drones, if they start flying over from Cuba to Louisiana and Mississippi and Florida, he's going to launch a nuke. Lovely fellow, isn't he?
There's 300 drones from Cuba?
Apparently, Cuba's got 300 Shahed drones. They've been given 300 Shahed drones, and they might just all be sent over at once.
Knowing what I know about places like Louisiana and Mississippi, half of those hillbillies would shoot the damn drones on themselves. They just be like, "Well, what you talking about, coon ass, man?" Yeah,
they get their big shotgun out, and
they would just shoot. They'd just be like beer can chicken for them. It wouldn't even be a big deal. They shoot the damn drones out. So I think Donald Trump is senile. I really believe that. I mean,
he's got dementia, definitely.
I mean, it's kind of it's crazy. It's wild how he ran for office, being more quote unquote lucid than Joe Biden, and he's just basically like More retarded than Biden.
Does anyone? Does any? It really doesn't make sense that after the January the 6th insurrection, when was that now? Back in
2021.
2021, wasn't it? And how does it make sense that they let him run a second time? It was okay. Maybe it was an anomaly having him the first time round, but to have him run
Oh, they
against
wanted him to
Kamala,
run again. They wanted him to run again. They want him to be president. That way, when all the crap hit the fan, they blame Trump instead of a Democrat. That's why. To make no mistake about it, if they didn't want Donald Trump to run for office again, they would have gone out of their way to make sure he didn't run for office.
Right.
Okay.
Let's keep it a buck. Because Donald Trump, after he was out of office, for like the first year or so, nobody even cared about his whereabouts. They're like, oh, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. But then the minute mainstream media was like, man, we're bored. What the hell are we going to talk about if Trump's not in office? We can't possibly say the same stuff about Biden. So then what happened? They started trumping up all these dumbass felonies. I mean, they basically wanted Donald Trump to be in the public, in the political eye for 12 years instead of 8.
Right. And he was out there campaigning the whole time he was out of office.
Yeah,
But
because he had no choice but to
behind the
campaign.
scenes who's running the show is actually Stephen Miller.
Yeah.
I have
who's another tiny foot? Who's another one of us? He's not a white man.
Oh, okay.
He's actually Jewish.
He's an Indian, is he?
No, he's a Jew.
Jew. Oh,
he's not an Indian. The Indians are beneath us. He's a Jew.
Anyway, I wanted to tell you that Modi and Modi come out here for a little visit to Naarm, which is Melbourne, and there's a big Indian community in Australia, apparently down in Victoria, and anyway, they had a lovely little protest from the Sikh separatist mob, which is for Palestine.
God! You're talking about
that's what they want to call the Punjab.
I know what you're talking about, the Khalistani movement. They've been trying that for like 50 years. Minimal.
That long?
Yeah, I remember in the 80s they talked about that.
Oh, okay.
They've been doing that for years. They've been trying that shit for decades.
I see.
Modi's like, we want one country, and Khalistan is like, no. And some of the Punjabis like, no, we don't want we don't want to do that. We want our own thing. But every time they try, of course, it fails because, well.
Anyway, Little Elbow, because that's his nickname. We call him Little Elbow, and he's done a lovely deal with Prime Minister Modi. To sell them our uranium now, so they can start making a few more bombs. That's what we need in this world. We need a few more bombs, and strictly for deterrence, mind you.
Yeah, the whole that whole thing is just a mess. But I mean that's that's
what's mad also about nuclear weapons that Kim Jong-un is apparently supposed to be the head of the nuclear proliferation treaty organization.
Well, I mean, the whole Kim Jong-un thing is so stupid because it's like everyone says he's a threat to like nuke people, but yet the U.S. military in Japan are doing freaking like are both like this are both like doing like nuclear are both doing military drills in the South China Sea, testing out their weapons. So I don't know what all these people are going on about. And technically the Korea War is still going on. Never actually ended. It just de-escalated, but it never ended. That's why there's 2 separate Koreas.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you seen the documentary or UD called Abby Munn's documentary called Earth's Greatest Enemy? And Earth's Greatest Enemy is the military-industrial complex of America.
Because which documentary?
Sorry?
Which documentary on the military-industrial complex?
Earth's Greatest Enemy. It talked about a where they trained the Marines, Fort Lagoon in it's riddled with cancer. The water table there,
Yeah.
they stuffed up the water table, and Meta is stealing all the, Zuckerbergs of this world is stealing all the water for the data centers.
Oh yeah, the data centers are going to be worse. Especially the new AI data centers. They're going to ruin even more water tables and even more water supply. At some point, people are either going to have to prevent these data centers from being built, or it was nice knowing all of you. So.
Mm.
Right, and that's what has me is that they don't want to watch China what China's doing, because China has AI systems that are underwater.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, with the China, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like they wanted to do the same thing China's doing when it comes to like the social credit scores and the constant surveillance state, but they don't want to do it the Chinese way, where they at least have like good technology. They
Right.
want to do it in like this backwards, old school, hillbilly way. It's like, yeah, so it's like really the worst of both worlds. You don't get any modern technology, but you still have the surveillance state. You have big government, but none of your needs are taken care of by the government.
No.
So it's like,
They leave out that part.
yeah. So it's like, it's just the worst of both worlds.
Oh yeah, then it's always with Israel with its security systems and
Oh, that's
crazy.
that's
But
enough.
also, what you're saying also about the Korean War not ending, Donald Trump come out with a statement recently, and he said, "Oh, I think I might just start bombing North Korea. We'll go for the underground bunkers and we'll put a few buster bombs down there.
Sure,
We'll
let
send
them
up
do
the stealth
that.
fighters and."
Oh, sure, let them do that and have the Chinese nuke us. That's great. That's great.
That's
That's great. Yeah,
things up pretty quick, wouldn't it?
that's great. The only thing the Chinese said to North Korea is, if you don't start anything, we'll defend you. But if you start stuff, we won't defend you.
Right.
They have said that to North Koreans. Don't start nothing, and we got your back. You do, then you're screwed. So I mean, if the U.S. wants to agitate North Korea to that point, you know what? It was nice knowing all of you.
Kim Jong-un, though, knows this. Kim Jong-un did make a statement that this crap happens with Israel, that he was going to nuke Israel, and he hasn't done it.
Yeah, no, a lot of those people just talk.
So it's just all talk. It seems to be just all talk.
Yeah, I mean, the Russians and the Chinese and the Turks have all gave those empty threats, but we all know they don't do anything.
No.
So if you do one more thing, it's going to happen. You do one more thing, it's like, come on. You guys have been doing that for years. If you're Russia, just focus on like winning Ukraine for once. Like seriously, how about just focus on that? If they could get the Israelis, they would have gotten the Israelis.
Yes.
And plus, we all know that when it came to the Bolshevik Revolution, most of them are like low-key Zionists in the first place. So.
Right.
You can't even in Russia. You can't even mention that the majority of the Bolsheviks are Jewish.
So. Okay.
So yeah, this is all just like a
I know about the pogrom, with the Bolshevik revolution,
Yeah, this is all just like nonsense.
Yeah,
it's
nice to see the world going so great, isn't it? It's really going along so fantastically. Everyone's going on holiday. They don't give us stuff about the baby eaters of this world and that might be stuffing up the brain with the MK Ultra and the Gate Project, the Operation Pegasus. Everything's just going swimmingly.
What was I going to say? North Korea had said too that they have nukes and missiles that can hit U.S. shores.
Okay.
So, But like you said, they're always saying stuff.
Right. It's the same garbage. Even the Turks said, if you do anything to the Palestinians, we'll nuke you. And it's like, come on. Turkey's been so bipolar about this whole ordeal. I mean, the Turks don't even know who they are. I mean, they want to say they're tired of the Palestinians doing what they're doing. Not the Palestinians. They're tired of what Israel's doing to the Palestinians, but they won't even accept what what they did to the Armenians. That's the main one. But I mean, if you only want to go to the most basic fucking levels, the Turks, the Turks want to be in a freaking like Arabic Islamic conference, promoting their Islamic roots. But yet they don't even like. But yet, according to a close friend of mine who's Arabic, he's like, the Turks don't even like the Arabs. And then you got like Turkey saying they don't want to be considered, they don't want to be allied with the U.S. or NATO or whatever, but yet somehow they're in the European Union. Like, where? And on the other hand, they say like, oh, well, we want to do deals with Russia, but we don't want to be aligned with Russia either. It's like, make up your mind. I mean, it's like they don't even know if they're Middle Eastern or they're European. And I can't blame that on one leader there. I can't say, oh, it's Erdogan. That's like that's a lot of their culture. But then again, I can't say too many bad things about Turkey because Wayne and I may have to fly there at some point. So,
Oh, okay.
we may have to.
I've
I
actually
don't
got a
know.
medic friend in Gaziantep, which is on the Syrian border, But I was just going to make a comment about what Evelina said. We have an overpopulation of billionaires, ain't that right?
Oh yeah, that's true. But it goes to the old adage: who makes these people billionaires? Part of it is the feds, but part of it's the people.
Yes.
I mean, how often do people go to small businesses to buy things?
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean, you'll see people going on Amazon and TikTok shop or Walmart to buy everything, to buy most of their stuff, or like but how many mom and pop shops are people going to?
That's the problem.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
The big corporate stores took over the mom and pop stores.
Right. And the old.
I was actually going to tell you that it's World Kebab Day, Appreciation Day, apparently, and I'm going to get a kebab when I go up the road in a little while. I'm going to terrorize everyone on my scooter.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Well, I take it in the lift, and sometimes people say, "Have you got a license for that?"
Yeah.
I take it in the lift and then I back it out again. It's
Yeah, I mean the whole thing. I mean, yeah. Let me read the comment. Evelina says. Her comment. She says, Jill Stein. No. We're done with Jill Stein. That's over. And then she says, one community in Michigan, I think, is complaining about a constant drone from a data center. Can you imagine living next to that? Please don't tell me that community's in Flint. Please don't tell me they're in Flint, Michigan, or near Flint, Michigan. Good God. Please don't tell me that. Hasn't that place been through enough already?
There's probably one of these data centers in that Dearborn place. That's where
come on, really?
Probably.
Hasn't Eastern Michigan been through enough?
Yes, Michigan has been through enough.
God. I mean, if it happened in actually, no, I won't wish anything. No, that state's been through enough. And, that state's really been through. Maybe if it happened in no, I won't wish. But no, I can't wish for anything bad on them. No, I can't.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not even if I don't like certain people who live in Michigan. I still can't wish that on them. That's too much.
No.
Right.
No, this is too much.
What is actually the population of Flint? It must go down every day, does it?
I believe so.
Oh,
I mean, having contaminated water wouldn't be very good for your body, would it?
No, it wouldn't.
I got breaking news from CNN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Palm Beach International Airport officially became Donald J. Trump International Airport today.
Good
Oh,
God.
lovely,
Oh my
lovely.
God, I just want to throw up.
How does it become named after a living person?
That makes no sense at all.
I mean, at least like Old Orchard Place became O'Hare Airport in Chicago because, a World War II hero named Eddie O'Hare, who was a pilot, went missing and never returned home. That
Yeah.
made sense. That's why it's called O'Hare Airport.
Mhm.
At this time,
But
at this
but
point, I
Trump is
think
still
it's time for
alive.
Team America 2 with Donald Trump as the star and Kim Jong Un as and we can all laugh to have a great final laugh and
But
shuffle off.
but see, the whole thing doesn't make any sense at all.
Because
It's
usually
like
the
you're
name
naming it
places
after
like that
someone
don't
who's
make
still
any sense.
alive.
Right, it makes no sense.
Doesn't make sense at all.
If they renamed the Palm Beach, you said the Palm Beach Airport was Donald J. Trump
It'd be
Airport.
better to call it
International Airport, yeah.
The
Oh,
Epstein, Epstein, Epstein,
geez.
Yeah, Epstein was there at Donald Trump's place in Florida.
Epstein Riviera Airport.
Yeah.
That's more fitting.
I mean, Evelina says no one deserves living with a constant drone. No.
Well, I mean, I could think of a few people who do, but I won't mention their names. No. Well, I mean, if Ed Higgins had to live with the constant drone, I don't know if that would be the worst case scenario. But
I think the idea about the thing with Donald Trump is he wants to he knows that his probably time is up very soon, so he wants to leave this legacy that he's remembered. He's named. I mean, who knows? He still might get on Mount Rushmore.
yeah, no, I will give Palm Beach credit. I will give Trump credit one aspect. He didn't rename the Miami International Airport as Donald Trump, the J. Trump Airport. He renamed the Palm Beach Airport as that.
Palm Beach Airport. Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah, well, they were talking about the death threats again with him.
Oh my God! Why do people? Can they come up with something new? These false flag operators aren't even trying anymore.
Yeah, but now they're trying to say there's a threat coming from Iran. So, and actually, some people say no, it most likely is the Mossad, and they're
Right.
blaming it on Iran.
It would be Mossad who does it, but let's be honest. At this point, Trump's probably hiring people to do this.
Yeah.
Look, my numbers are down. Nobody believes me anymore. Can you send someone to try to assassinate me again? I truly appreciate it.
That's about it.
I mean, we all know this.
Am I right in saying that he's about to have a meeting next week with Bibi again in the White House? How's that going to go? Bibi, I'm not very happy with you. Can't you leave Lebanon alone? Can't you stop your Greater Israel project? And we might end our alliance. And Bibi will go,
Yeah.
oh, no, you can't do that. I've got all the Epstein stuff on you.
Well, one, the Epstein stuff, and two, let's be honest, that's a perfect spot for a quote unquote another assassination attempt for Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, God, that's so tailor made. At this point, I'd rather go on some Poly Market website and bet on this. At this point, that's how stupid this whole thing is. I know that sounded so Jewish of me. What am I saying? We're gonna gamble on current events every day.
Yeah, well, there's a market for everything these days.
I know there is. I mean, this is so dumb. This is so stupid. My God. This is dumber than the damn, the Correspondence Dinner shooting, where that whole thing was a fucking hoax. And like a few minutes after the shooting ended, you had some Jewish lady, some Jewish e-whore posting a bunch of selfies from the event. It's like, good God, this is all stupid.
Oh, it is. And I'm just so disgusted with Netanyahu being able to come here to the U.S.
Yeah.
He's a genocidal warmonger. He should not be coming to the U.S.
Well, and everyone forgets the Monica Lewinsky situation happened because one, Bill Clinton's a sexual predator, but two, more importantly, that also happened because Netanyahu made a request to like go to war with someone or let Jonathan Pollard go, and Bill Clinton's like, no, I'm not doing that. Well, then then the Monica Lewinsky scandal will be public, and then it became public.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
Mm.
There's always blackmail going on from Israel.
Right. That's why Netanyahu does what he wants, because he can blackmail everybody else. Some point, why couldn't the Iranian government, why couldn't the Islamic Republic of Iran just blow up Israel's like water centers? Good God, that could have ended all these problems.
Mm-hmm.
The world could have been a better place if Iran just had two small little things.
Mm.
Oh, Evelina has a good point here. Evelina says Bibi is short for the Arabic Habibi, which is an affectionate term. Folks, we have to stop calling him Bibi.
I agree.
No, okay. Good point.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
What do we call him then? Mr. Toothpaste 2. Oh, that's anti-Semitic.
I mean, he is
That's
Polish.
anti-Semitic.
Yes, he is Polish.
I mean, we could just call him the evil Polak. I don't know.
Evil Polak. That sounds more toned down, doesn't it? You've got to watch that anti-Semitic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're an anti-Semite because you call it you're calling our dear leader a Polak. That's pretty racist.
Well, he is a Polak. He is Polish.
He's a Polak.
Right?
That's so funny. Oh, you start saying these things after hanging out with me for so long.
Remember that saying I remember growing up when people would use the term dumb Polak?
Yeah, I remember. I live in Chicago. I'm surrounded by them.
But they would use the term, and the people wouldn't be complaining. People would call each other names, and it wasn't a.
Yeah, some of my best friends are Polish. We call them that all the time. They do the Indian accent to me, and I'm like, "Shut up, you dumb Polak." Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you might change the name of Mar-a-Lago. Do you think you might call that the Happy Land or something?
Oh, jeez. All right, I'm gonna get going. It's been fun.
Okay,
I'm glad I got to say everything I wanted to say.
Evelina says Boo Boo. Boo Boo Netanyahu would be more appropriate. Boo Boo.
Yeah, that's too nice.
Oh, Boo Boo, that's nice. But I was going to say something. What was I going to say about? I don't know.
But Netanyahu and Israel.
Oh, yeah. The Polak.
Polacks. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody really does that with the Israelis. People living in Israel, they're from Poland.
He keeps coming to America, and no one gives him a cream pie in the face. Why can't he at least get a cream pie in the face? Bill Gates got one. Give one to Bibi.
Oh, yeah. Bibi's kids are changing their last name. His oldest son goes by a different last name, and the younger one is changing his name because just going around with the name Netanyahu, it's not good for your safety.
Well, they brought that on themselves, so.
Yes.
So I have no sympathy for them at all. So.
No.
I mean, they get to basically be wealthy, like, South Beach douchebag party animals just because their dad makes billions of dollars committing war crimes. So I have no sympathy for them. I have no sympathy for what happens. And they're in like a place surrounded by their fellow Israelis, so nothing's going to happen to them.
Yeah, the oldest son lives in, I believe, London.
Oh, yeah, he's even safer. I mean, everyone talks about how London's overrun by Muslims, but yet all the Israelis still control London. So
Yeah.
London's still controlled by Israelis. I mean, even the white nationalists and quote unquote white supremacists are like pro-Israel.
What was that all about? You
Well,
know,
because they look at it as white.
Right.
what's all those
They
white
look at
nationalists
Israelis as
about
white.
on-
Just like they look at Jewish as blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah. Wayne, what are you doing?
Oh, I was just asking, what was all those white nationalists about on 4th of July coming to Washington? What was all that about?
I don't even know. Maybe
I
they're
mean,
trying to fight the
what
system
was
or
the point
whatever,
of
but
those? I'm just saying, what was the point that they were trying to prove?
I guess they all wanted to come together and not feel alone. I don't know. All I know is that they talk more than they act.
Oh,
And
okay.
like I said on the show earlier, like all these like white Anglo-Saxon Protestant types in Western society have never been able to build a damn thing without a slave class. So, I mean, hell, they couldn't even save Europe without the Moors.
Mm.
The Moors are the ones that are teaching them how to live and how to bathe.
Mm.
And then, and then they also had slavery there. They also brought slaves. And then half the reason they used to have illegal immigration was because they needed the migrants to basically be the 20th century of slaves.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they had it. Same in America. You had actual slaves, like they had black people enslaved in the South, building everything. In the North, all the WASP basically used like Irish and Italians and Eastern Europeans as like freaking indentured servants to build most of the North and the Northeast. And then and then in the West was mainly built by the Chinese.
Oh, that's right, Harsh. Now I remember Harsh. Yeah, sorry about
Yeah, that's all good. I like being a tall, skinny black guy.
At least you're not the drunk Harsh, that drunk Harsh. I'm glad he dropped off the perch. Oh, it don't mean any harm.
Well, I don't know what's happened to, I can't think of his name now. Our friend that Harsh that was on here hasn't been around for a while.
Mm.
I can't think.
It's been a name for a while.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. But he was coming on here, and I haven't seen him for a while. I'm hoping he's
Who?
okay.
Oh.
Who haven't you seen for a while?
I'm trying to think of his name now. Let me go look online. I can't think, but he was coming on here. We used to have a show, and he used to come on all the time.
Oh.
And he had a habit with drinking.
Oh yeah. Oh, Joe Logan.
Yeah, Joe Logan.
I miss that dude. I gotta give him a call later tonight.
Yeah, give him a call because I really want to know what's going on with him.
God, he was awesome. Every time I call him, he'd be like, "What time is it? It's beer 30 over here."
Not on social media anymore, so I don't know what is going on.
Yeah, I gotta call him. I hope his number's the same. We gotta have some fun. I mean, drunk Harsh is fun though, especially if he's at a concert. So.
Okay.
But anyway,
Beavers, they announced the other day is going to be the halftime show of the final of the FIFA World Cup Monday week. Well, Sunday your time, Monday.
Who was
going
this?
to be the halftime, and Donald's going to be there. So it's a good opportunity to knock him off at the FIFA World Cup final.
Oh, just remember, if Trump's out of office, then you have everyone's favorite couch fucker, JD Vance, in power. So.
Yeah, I understand that's not such a great thing, eh?
Yeah. So no.
Yeah, because he's very much Palantir is wanted JD Vance. There was money behind JD Vance, but he didn't have the selling power.
Mm.
So they needed Trump for the sake of getting J.D. Vance into office, being the vice president, because J.D. Vance couldn't. He can't sell. He can't sell at all. That's even though
Mm,
Donald Trump's an idiot, but he can sell.
no.
He sells his bullshit, and he's still got his MAGA base that follows him, even though some have dropped off.
Mm,
His MAGA base is not what it was.
No.
It's not what it was even 5 years ago, or even because a lot of people are just tired of him. They're just like, guys, we voted for Trump to be different, not to be just a liberal version of what we've already, conservative version of what we've already dealt with for 30 years. So,
Yeah, we
I was
just
actually going
and
to
then
tell
they
you,
go
Dee,
on
that
his
it's pretty
case.
cold here today.
It's
I've got
cold
my
there.
big jacket on. Pretty
Yeah.
chilly. This is the coldest month that we have, July.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Trump is not doing what he said, and like people actually thought that Trump was gonna do as he said, and Trump just blatantly says it. Oh well, I just said what I had to say to get into office.
Mm,
And that's what he does. He just sells. He sells a bunch of lies. Evelina says translates into that every time we use it. Oh, BB is beloved. BB means dearest. Yeah, so we have to remember not to use that word. He's the Polak.
I like, yeah.
The Polak from Israel.
Mm.
yeah.
Alrighty, so I guess I'll close the show out.
Oh, okay, Dee. Yeah.
I think we've had a good conversation. So what are you planning on doing today, Wayne?
Oh, well, in a little while, I've got to go for a dental appointment.
Okay, good
And
luck.
tomorrow, I've got something planned. As long as it's not as cold as today. If it's cold like today, tomorrow I might skip this thing. But I was going to an event. I was invited by my Aboriginal friend to a thing at a church in the south side of where I live, and it's actually doesn't sound too bad. Yeah, so I was, and it's free. I just had to register for
Hmm.
it, but so I'm thinking of going to that. But it's very cold here today, so I hope it's a little bit warmer tomorrow. If it's not too warm, I may not go to this thing because I just might stay rugged up.
Mm. Yeah, I mean,
We get pretty cold winters here, and especially in July.
yeah,
Like anyway, yeah. How
yeah.
are things with you, Dee?
Okay, yeah, here
Oh,
it's
the
very
kids up
hot,
here.
and
We're finished now, have we?
yes. Well, I'm still on. It says, oh yeah, Evelina
Okay.
says, Wayne, please stay out of the sun peak hours. Oh, Wayne's got winter there in Australia, right?
Mhm.
And Evelina says,
We'll get
thanks,
a lot of
guys.
tomatoes.
Yeah, yeah. Wayne's got the winter in Australia. The
Yeah,
rest
that's all
of
right,
us, it's
Evelina.
sweltering.
Yeah, we had a good chat.
Yeah, thank you,
Let's
Wayne, for being
stay
here.
out of the sun. Take yours, yeah. Yeah, I will, Evelina. I've had a bit of a trouble with my eye. So yeah, I will try and keep out of the sun.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, well, actually,
Okay, well,
Saturday
like the
night.
show's finished now.
Yeah, Saturday night, Evelina and everybody. Madeline's going to be on with me, so we'll be talking more about Latin America. Colombia, Venezuela, and just there's just so much going on there. So Madeline Hoffman is going to be joining me Saturday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And thank you again for waiting, for hopping on. I appreciate that. We had a nice conversation. And thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Evelina. And thank you, Evelina, for all your comments. And so what was I going to say? And let's just all continue doing what we're doing. Rain's out there protesting, and um, people share information, protest. Do what you can. Try to wake people up to what's going on. It's just too much. And please share the show around. I have a new YouTube channel, so if you'd like to follow me on YouTube, subscribe to YouTube. Follow me on X. Like me on like and follow me on Facebook. I'd appreciate that. And let's just, like I said, doing what we're doing, sharing information and doing the best that we can. Thank you and good night, everyone. Peace out. Free Palestine. Um, just freedom in the world and peace in the world, and let's just all be in this together. Thank you and good night.
Too cool.